My ex made my son choose between me and my dog.
I think we know which one he chose.
I have a son from my first marriage that I have 50-50 custody of. We alternate weeks. My now wife used to work in another state and she has 2 daughters. We dated long distance and I would see her every other week when I traveled for work. By the way, this comes from Bree Turnup, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKstorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, my son has met her and her daughters many times, and we moved slowly. We only married after the kids were okay with it. My wife finally got a new job here 3 months ago, and we bought a house together in the same city my son and I live in. Her kids are still adjusting to the move and are not thrilled.
Like every movie, you moved me away from my friends.
It's like the Spiderwick Chronicles.
Yes.
I love
Yes.
that movie. The problem now involves my ex, my son, and Morgorath, my wife's 6-year-old German Shepherd.
Okay, cool.
My son has met this dog many times before with no issues. However, after we bought the house and my wife brought the dog here permanently, there has been a whole disaster. Remember, my son has seen this dog many times before with no issues, and there is no known history of dog allergies. But now it seems he's having a very mild reaction to the dog all of a sudden. It's some redness around his eyes and sniffling, and an allergist has confirmed this. My ex has gone absolutely crazy, more than usual, and refuses to let my son over unless the dog is removed. She can't legally do that. You have 50-50 custody. She can't do that. As long as you're taking the proper, steps to get your kid on allergy shots or meds or something, then she can't do that legally.
I propose a new law. Do we know how old this kid is about?
I don't know if they said. It seems
Okay.
like he's probably
but he seems younger.
Seems like he's 5 to 8, I'd say.
Perfect. Oh, this is perfect. Perfect age. What is the dog doing around the house? What is this kid doing around the house?
Yeah, who's cooler?
Because you can train. I had a history teacher that trained their German Shepherd to do its laundry, like separate its laundry for him.
What?
Yeah, he did. He's like,
That's
here's the
crazy.
whites.
Yeah.
Here's the color. Yeah, he did it. So who is, helping out around the house more? And then from there,
And
you
then
got
you
one
decide.
dog house in the back. And if the German Shepherd's helping out more, kids in the back.
Yeah. And then
And-
there's no issue.
And then that solves the allergy thing. Or I don't know, figure out a shot.
Yeah.
Because they got shots for this, right?
They do. I took shots.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
For what?
For all of my allergies. I have seasonal allergies. I had
Narrow to animal ones.
cat and bunny.
Did it work?
I was never around cats that much because I was allergic. So it didn't really help me with the cat allergies. I think it was more focused on
Bunnies?
no, I actually had a bunny, but I think the allergy shots were more so to help me with seasonal allergies.
And did they help? I was
Mm.
gonna say, because you and I have this very
yeah.
similar allergies.
Not that much, but they did make a slight difference.
I
the
mean-
severity of the allergy season would be less.
I remember, I was gonna say, I remember growing up, I was very allergic to both cats and dogs.
Yeah.
And then dogs, because a lot of my friends had dogs, I kind of just would slowly, get better and better. So
You can
dogs
kind
I'm a
of
lot
build
better
up a
with.
tolerance if
Yeah.
you live, because I have my
Like milk.
friend my friend Isabella has pretty bad cat allergies, but she has 2 cats, and she said over the years of having them, it's gotten a lot better.
Yeah, that's me
That's
with
wild.
with Carly's cat. The first time I met it, it's sneezing immediately.
Yeah.
But now it's I'll still sneeze and get bad allergies, but it takes a little bit more time rather than instantly.
Also, the dog's 6, everyone, not
Yes.
16.
She is also not approving the use of antihistamines if the reaction is bothering him. I ended up spending $40,000 to renovate our basement so my son would have a living space that is totally separate from the dog.
Okay.
That kid lucked out. He's like, achoo, I need my own room. I need my own room in the basement, and I need a basketball hoop for my allergies.
I need a widescreen TV.
For my allergies.
Dude, if it became $40,000 on a bill,
Yeah, that's pretty pricey.
so something's leaving the house. We're not renovating anything.
I also bought several air purifiers, vacuumed and scrubbed everything every single day when he's living here. It's exhausting, but the moment he complains of a possible reaction, my ex takes him back to her house, even though it's my custody time. Then go to the courts. Be like, she keeps taking him back. Is my day. Now it appears my son is listening to his mother and making ultimatums that he won't be coming over unless we get rid of the dog.
Oh, no.
You can see why this is difficult for me. My wife and stepdaughters are completely attached to their dog. My wife is beside herself and is now saying she regrets buying the house together, but we are stuck with the house for a while because of financial reasons. I really thought the separate living area was a good compromise. Also sucks that you just spent $40,000 and the kid's still like, no. It's much nicer than the rest of the house, and I'm down there the entire time he is. I'm just so sick of my ex constantly trying to run my life, and I refuse to put my wife and stepdaughters through something as traumatic as giving up their dog. My ex told me yesterday I was putting the dog over my son's needs, and it broke my heart. That's not what I'm doing, and it's unaliving me that he's hearing this from her. Am I the a-hole here? My son's 13.
And he still isn't separating the laundry.
Keep the dog. And I don't know how much longer I'll be able to force him to come live with me on my own time. Verdict is not the a-hole, and there are some relevant comments, but what does OP do?
It's a manipulation tactic from your ex, OP.
Yeah.
She wants your son full time. Oh, the
Yeah.
dog.
Perfect excuse for her.
Yeah.
I think Duchess Cassandra says take her to court for parental alienation. She's literally refusing to bring him over on your custody, during your custody time. That's illegal.
And also whispering things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he wants to keep the dog, not you around. Looks like they like that dog better than you.
Yeah.
Crazy they won't get rid of that dog so you can stay over more.
Especially if it's only a minor reaction.
It's redness. It could be scary. I don't know what it all is.
But I mean, OP said it was minor reaction. I've had these minor reactions.
Yeah.
It depends on the reaction. I mean, a 13-year-old. I mean, you remember when you were younger.
being 13. But the thing is, I remember we both have had these experiences.
It depends,
and also
yeah.
worse ones.
If they're minor reactions like itchy eyes, but they still
Yeah.
suck.
It's-
Nobody
of
wants
course.
them. But
He
again,
has his own place. OP's vacuuming daily. There's no way that this
plus
is,
isn't OP building that?
OP already built it.
Yeah, that basement. That
The
Yeah.
basement
super,
already exists.
that super duper
Yeah.
clean dog-free zone basement.
The ex, it's literally the
It's
ex
the ex.
manipulating
That's
it.
what I'm saying.
This
'Cause
is crazy.
If this were just, the 13-year-old says, I don't want it, I don't believe that it's just coming from the 13-year-old. It absolutely is the ex. Because as a, having been a 13-year-old with allergies, would not react this way.
The dog can stay,
Yeah.
guys.
I honestly begged my mom to get a cat, even though I had allergies.
I was
She
the same.
Like,
I was the same with the
you
dog.
have allergies.
I said the same thing with the dog. I was
Yeah.
like, I really want a dog. They're like, do you realize what you're saying? I was like, I can live with it.
Guys,
Yeah,
I
she's
want a
like,
dog.
no.
What, my roommate can take plates from the side of the road home
But I can't
after I
take a
said
dog.
no, but I can't bring a dog home?
Relevant comments. Old Head says, what in your custody agreement makes it okay that your wife has refused to allow your son to come or refused to allow him to take antihistamines or any other medication? What she seems to forget is she's no longer your wife. And while she has a say over what does and does not happen with her child, she has no say in what goes on in your home as long as you're tending to the safety and well-being of your child. Like, oh, I don't know, putting on a $40,000 addition for a separate living space. OP says, the way it's written, both parents' consent is required for medical decisions. My ex also buys into a lot of conspiracy theories that my son is now also starting to believe. Yeah, she's probably like, you're gonna, go crazy if you start taking antihistamines.
Oh my gosh.
Half the Revolution says, not the a-hole, I think. It seems like his allergy is pretty mild, and you've gone above and beyond to accommodate it. He's 13, not a little kid. He can take medicine if all he gets are the sniffles. It's not really fair for your wife to have to get rid of her dog for some sneezes. However, if his allergy is more serious than you're letting on, it's more of a problem. Regardless, your ex is being a real a-hole. She should not be interfering in this so heavily, and she should not be doing so by playing up the issue to your son and making him upset with you over it. Have you sat your son down and talked to him about it one-on-one? OP says, it is a mild allergy for sure. That's even how the allergist put it. But my ex has been convincing my son it's worse than it actually is, and they're both overreacting.
Lovely.
He's like, you're dying. You're dying. You're passing
He
away.
sneezes once. He's like, I think I'm dying.
Yeah, he's like, Dad, I can't come over anymore because I'm about to pass away.
Dad, that's all I got. I can't breathe anymore.
Dude, the thing that sucks is it's working for her now, but whenever the 13-year-old boy becomes a man,
Yeah, and he realizes, oh, my allergies are not that bad.
will he realize that, though? That's what I'm afraid of.
Eventually, an adult man has to realize that his allergies towards dogs are just not that bad.
I did that. I was like, I'm going to
Yeah.
push it. I'm going to see how much I can
Yeah.
go. And 'cause
Yeah.
I love dogs.
But
Dogs are great.
I don't know, with this mom being very...
Pushy. I have tried talking to him several times, but when his own mother is contradicting me, he's obviously confused and is just siding with her. Top comment says, Trash Pan Amanda says, not the a-hole. You worked really hard to come up with a compromise and spent $40,000 to do it. Your ex is being completely unreasonable. It may be time to take her back to court. Cthulhu says he built a dungeon to keep his teenage son in? / sarcasm. Yeah, no teenager will love being locked in the basement when he visits his dad. I think this is sarcastic. Trash Pan Amanda says a dungeon? It sounded like the kid got his own apartment. What kid doesn't want his own apartment? Seriously, though, you might want to get back in touch with a lawyer, OP. Yeah, I think that commenter was joking before.
That commenter was 100% joking.
Yeah,
but again,
it said / sarcasm.
OP was like, I clean up the house. I try to make it as nice as possible.
So OP vacuums every day. Having had to do that recently, it's tough.
Yeah.
And OP's probably doing a lot more thorough job because he's trying to get rid of fur, which gets everywhere.
It drove her into
Especially with the
insanity.
German
With
Shepherd.
that German Shepherd, yeah. Because again, same thing. My friend had a German Shepherd, and I was like,
They shed like crazy.
Yeah.
Especially depending on the type of German Shepherd. Some of them have like the undercoats.
Oh, man.
Update. My son and ex lied about the severity of his allergies, forcing me to give my wife's family dog away. How do I fix this?
Oh, my. Stop.
9 months later.
no
They put a
way.
dog on the streets?
I hope not. I hope not.
I hope to like a family friend or like a neighbor.
Yeah. The situation is honestly tearing my family apart. My son from my first marriage is 14 now. When I got married to my now wife a little over a year ago, everything was going great. We did things by the book and made sure the kids were happy before we got married. Once we got married, my wife moved to my state where my son and I live, and we bought a house together. My wife and stepdaughters had a 6-year-old German Shepherd. My son had met this dog several times before and had no issues. After we moved in together, my son started getting mild reactions to the dog. The doctor said antihistamines would be a simple fix, but my ex refused to let him take them. As a result, I completely renovated our basement to the point it's nicer than the rest of the house, just so my son could have a dog-free space. I spent a lot of money doing this. This still wasn't enough, and my son, with my ex on the sidelines, gave me the ultimatum of him or the dog. By this point, we'd had months of conflict, and my son was leaving early anytime he experienced discomfort. After discussing with my wife, we made the heartbreaking decision to let someone else adopt the dog because we didn't want my son to feel like we picked a dog over him. That is devastating. Devastating.
That's crazy.
Like,
Also, just like the fact that your wife has to give away her and her kids' dogs because your son from a previous marriage and your ex.
Why is the mom, the ex in this case, not letting the son take antihistamines? Well,
I think she probably had, she's probably got like some conspiracy theory against
That's-
antihistamines or something, or just wants control.
but I would go to
Yeah.
the doctor, and it seems like the doctor even said it's not a
Yeah,
strong
she's
allergy.
clearly not listening to the doctor.
I would be like,
Ooh.
hey,
Yeah.
hey, Sonny, do you
Yeah.
hear your doctor saying that you have an allergy, but it's
Oh.
okay and like it's not that intense? And he's
Yeah,
like,
you
I'm
know,
not hearing that.
she decided that.
But mom
part.
says, I'm just saying that's what the kid says.
But
But
mommy
mom
says
says,
that I
yeah.
can't have a dog.
I got to give the coots to the wife here, the Opie's wife.
Yeah, that she willingly gave up the dog for her husband.
Mm-hmm.
That's like huge.
That's huge. Just
I
to
don't
include
think
the
I
son.
could do that.
Really?
If-
If
yeah,
it
if
was
someone
getting
was
to
like-
that point where the son wouldn't come around because of the dog, I'd be like, all right.
I don't know if I could, like, if someone, like, if I had Ava and someone was like, you have to give up Ava,
Yeah, what if the boy was like, I can't hang out with you because of Ava?
I'd be like, well, yeah, in this case, Ava lives with me for some reason. I'd be like,
Tough.
yeah, but just because you've made a commitment to this animal, you've made a
But
commitment
you've
to an
also
animal.
made a commitment to another family.
Yes.
And we're under the influence right now that,
Yes, that the mom, I know.
yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, I think that's why I'm saying this is such a huge sacrifice because you
Yeah.
made this commitment to an animal.
Oh.
You
to
know
take care of
what?
it.
You know what would really like put the cherry on top of this is if the ex-wife gets a dog.
My stepdaughters were devastated but very understanding. My son resumed seeing me according to the schedule, and it seemed to be working out. Oh my God. If I were the stepdaughters, I'd resent this kid so much.
yeah,
Like,
made
you
me,
suck.
dad made me move here. Now our
Yeah.
dog's gone and people at school think I'm weird.
Until Christmas, when my ex bought a dog for her family, you called it.
Called it.
I
I
would
called it.
literally go to the courts. I would go to the courts
I can't believe I
and
called
would
it.
demand full custody.
That's the
Yeah.
cherry on top. I knew
Wow.
this was a thing from the ex-wife to be like, I
Power.
have control. He. I can do whatever I want.
My son is now freely taking antihistamines without any complaint.
That's
So
crazy.
clearly, it was just control. This has obviously not gone over well with my wife and stepdaughters. The kids are fighting nonstop with my son, who is not even remotely remorseful. Your son sucks.
Also, this is a beautiful plan by the ex.
Yeah, a beautiful plan?
Oh, yeah.
It was so what?
This is beautiful. It's working to her plan. She
Yeah.
wants to have the son full time. How do I do that?
Exactly. You make everyone hate him until
Have everyone implode.
until they say we don't want the son around. 'Cause he
Exactly.
sucks.
This is like
It was a lose-lose situation for
Yeah,
OP,
your son's a little narc.
but a win-win situation for ex-wife. Yeah.
Exactly.
this is
It's exactly
It
what she
worked.
wants. My wife is incredibly upset and angry, and I feel like a fool who fell for a very cruel trick. I talked to my son about this, but he just seems to avoid the subject. My ex has been very rude and flippant about the whole situation. My stepdaughters have said they'll never forgive my son, and I'm just wondering how I can salvage this. Family therapy isn't an option because my ex opposes therapy.
Of course, because she won't be able to control the narrative.
I'm saving to change her custody order because my ex is abusing clauses that allow her to deny certain medical treatments she disagrees with. I'm also feeling very betrayed by my son. I know he's being caught in the middle, but his subsequent attitude has been very disappointing. How do I fix this? I have no idea. Your son's a snitch, and he seems like he's lame. And yeah, he's being influenced by his mom, but I don't know, he's 13.
I was gonna say, I hate to say this, OP. That's not your son. That's your ex-wife's kid.
What's your op, man?
Mm-hmm. Because she's playing mind
Yeah.
games. She's doing all these things. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you have a conversation with your son and you say, hey, I understand that your mom is, telling you things, but you lied to me and you have shown no remorse. And there are consequences for that. You're going to be doing chores around here. You're going to be start parenting him.
Dude, I don't even know what you could do to have consequences in this scenario, because the kid could be like, Dad's making me, spread mulch all day.
And then if she says, oh, you can't do that, I'm taking custody, then you go back to court.
Go back to court.
Yeah.
I'm kind of conflicted. Like, I don't want to give up on this kid. If this was my son,
Nor do
I wouldn't
I.
want to give up on him, but it seems like
It's your son.
I'm put in a position of, you got to choose one family. I'm going to be the bad guy either way.
I don't know. I think that you have to start showing also your family that there are consequences for your son's actions. That's why I think giving him I don't know if it's more chores or something else.
But then
a
he's not going to want to
conversation.
see his dad anymore.
Again, it's another lose-lose situation because the son's already picking my mom's side whenever. And he's like, the mom, I guarantee you the mom's like, oh yeah, they don't like you over there. You tell me how much it sucks over there. You don't want to hang out with your dad.
Okay,
I
here's
don't
the
know.
thing. Here's the thing. Okay.
Yeah.
We're down. No son. Family mad at son. No dog. We can come back from this, though. We just have to think.
Get that dog back.
We have to get the dog back. That's number one.
Get that dog back.
But we have to think like the mom thinks and somehow flip it. We can get the courts on our side. We can get the lawyers on our side. You gotta play petty now.
Somehow. She's played petty this
That's
whole
how
time.
I'd be thinking in this scenario.
Hey, everyone, stop! I got $100 in my hand, and I want to give it away.
Kind of rude. Don't shout.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It's really exciting. We're doing a giveaway every public live stream, $100. Super easy to enter.
Yeah, guys. Every public live stream, Tuesday and Thursday. You're probably already here, but at 3 p.m. PST, just join us, and we're gonna pick one of you guys. One of you guys gets that $100 right there. All you gotta do is go to that little QR code or that little survey link, enter your name and number. That's all you gotta do, and we'll call one of you guys at the end of the stream.
One of you will be called upon, and if thou'st answers the call, thou'st winneth the dollars.
Holy crap, I can't believe it.
You're the OK Storytime giveaway winner!
This is the one time we're gonna promote you picking up a phone call from a random number.
Yeah. Just be ready. If you're on the stream, you should be in the stream. And anyways, that's enough of that. We're gonna get back to this story.
Relevant comments. Polite Cranberry says, yeah, this kid needs therapy. Family therapy may be good for the half that can get it in the meantime, so they can process their loss better. So sorry, by the way, my parents' German Shepherd is my best friend, and I'm allergic to her, so this is making me have all kinds of feels. He is devious, in pain, and I'm concerned Mom might be refusing therapy because she is purposely poisoning/manipulating son against you, and a therapist would see through that. I mean, that's 100% the reason.
That's our thing. We get him in therapy. We don't call it therapy.
Yeah.
We can call it something else.
But he would totally
Mentoring.
Dad and son
Dad
hanging
and son
out with a
mentoring
friend.
Hey.
with my friend.
Hey, you want to go to a baseball game? And then we have
And we're going to talk to Mandy.
Mandy. Mandy's going to join us.
Mandy's my friend.
Dad, it's not baseball season anymore.
Or Gregory. Gregory's there. Oh, yeah, right. We're going to watch basketball.
And you just
then-
have the game on,
Yeah.
and you're like, hey, how do you feel about your mom, kid?
That'd be really funny, actually. Just
Dude.
like,
I think we might
Yeah.
need to do this.
Brilliant. This person continues. She knew if he asked, the choice would be more difficult. My son leaving early anytime he had discomfort. He knows you don't want him to leave, so you'll avoid making him uncomfortable, which basically trains you to be a doormat. Have you spoken directly with your son about this? He needs to understand the gravity of what his actions have caused. So please don't minimize you and your family's feelings about this while speaking with him. He needs to understand the consequences of his actions. And if he can't, won't, doesn't care, I'll just hope extra hard that the custody stuff works out so you can put him in therapy. OP says, I have talked to him many times and he knows how much it unalived my wife and stepdaughters to let the dog go. I'm so disappointed with how remorseless he is. And I have no idea how I can bring this family together again. I know my ex is definitely manipulating him, but surely he should have some empathy for himself. And Deleted says, and I have no idea how I can bring this family together again. You don't. And you seek therapy to accept that your inability to do that is not your fault. It is your wife's, and to a lesser extent, your son's. He's old enough to have a say in his actions. Do not do the wrong things because you're chasing after some hopeless dream of a fairy tale reunion and the family getting back together. Do right by your daughters. Do right by your son by making him face consequences for his truly heinous actions. If he's mad at you, well, sometimes that's part of being a good parent. OP says...
Wait, sorry, real quick. Can some people put your opinions on like what kind of consequences would go good here?
Yeah. Yeah, because this commenter also said that.
Yeah.
allergy therapy.
Therapy.
Eat this peanut.
Here's German Shepherd hair.
Every time you see him. OP says, I'm not sure what kind of consequences I can even give. His own mother is apparently orchestrating all of this. He's not a badly behaved kid. It was just this one thing, but the one thing turned out to be a huge deal. I don't know. I feel like I can't do anything right. Anti-Brad says, yes to therapy. F what your ex thinks. Y'all need it. OP says, I can't take him to therapy without my ex signing off on it too. The therapist's office has this rule.
Okay, then what sport is he into? Hey, I just got you a basketball trainer.
Yeah. I'm just going to ask you some questions.
Yeah, just talk to
Help you
him.
with your throw. I think people are being a bit too harsh on my son. I don't believe he intentionally set out to get the dog removed and purposely do the complete opposite later. With a mother like my ex, I can see why he got so upset about the allergies. I only wish he'd tried to at least make his feelings known and take the medication, or tried to be his own person when his mother was pulling the strings.
I'm sorry, OP. Your son's 13, 14? I don't know.
I mean, it's really hard when you have a parent who's incredibly manipulative
Oh
like-
yeah, dude.
at that age.
Yeah.
After I've been watching a lot of, Game of Thrones, and everyone's just been manipulating everybody
Yeah.
else.
That's the Game of Thrones.
That's the name of the game, and I
Name
think
of the game.
low key, if you watch that series, you could probably get some ideas and learn
Yeah.
how to combat this.
Yeah, you have some pretty nasty kids in that show.
You do, but you take the brutality of it down like 100-fold, and then choose one of those options.
And now I want him to at least apologize for what he put my wife and my stepdaughters through. But he's in this mentality that he did what his parents, namely his mom, wanted him to do. He's always been sweet and kind, so seeing this behavior is really jarring. And I can't exactly not see my son or limit my time with him. That would just increase my ex's influence on him. And there is an update, folks. Let's get into it because I have no other ideas for this guy. Update 2 months after the last post. Long story short, we ended up giving away my wife's family dog because my son developed a mild allergy after we had already bought a house and moved in together. My ex refused to let my son take antihistamines and goaded him into making an ultimatum, him or the dog. Also, I'm confused why she got to say, no, he can't take antihistamines, but didn't consult you about it. Because
Maybe
according to that rule, you should have been consulted about any sort of medical change here, you know?
Very weird. And then again, since they got the dog for the ex-wife, now she's letting him take antihistamines.
She's playing the
which is-
game.
She's playing. It's playing a game, and I
Yeah.
don't understand how the son, if like
Doesn't
at that
see
point, is
that?
like, wouldn't scratch his head. Like, this is
Yeah,
weird.
that's weird that they had to get rid of the dog, but then we got a dog. We made the decision to give the dog away because we didn't want him to feel like we were picking a dog over his health. My wife and stepdaughters were devastated. Well, last Christmas, we were shocked to find out that my ex got a dog and started my son on antihistamines. We felt completely betrayed, especially my wife and stepdaughters. My stepdaughters were extremely upset with my son, and we had to keep them separated to avoid further conflict. I then decided to be stupid and petty and started legal proceedings to gain full custody based on my ex buying a dog. I don't think that's stupid or petty. You have clear evidence that your ex is colluding against, working against you.
I think he feels this way because his wife probably doesn't have his back.
Yeah.
And his ex-wife is definitely giving him HE double hockey sticks about it. So that's why he feels like, oh, this is stupid. But
I think you need it.
you got to stay firm on it. Stand on business, my dude.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying, why doesn't the son go to a school counselor? Again, I think
Probably the same reason mom would say no.
he probably brings it up to mom. He's like, Mom, should I go see a school counselor? He's like, no, don't do that.
I said I didn't want my son on toxic medication like she did, but honestly, I just wanted revenge. In response, my ex also gave her dog away. Oh, I see. So I thought OP was saying that he wanted to go and get custody, but it seems like he just wanted to do what his ex did. That is kind of petty. A month ago, my son moved out of my ex's house to my parents' house. He said he wasn't going to live with either my ex or me. I went over really pissed because I thought this was him playing into my ex's schemes. OP,
Wait.
I honestly think you're the a-hole for that last move. I think all this whole time you've been in the clear, and then to pettily be like, well, if you can't have a dog over here, you can't have a dog over there.
Yeah. Well, that's the only card he could play whenever he had other cards.
Instead, I sat and watched him cry and say that now everyone at both houses hates him and that he's being bullied. I realized I had done exactly what I was accusing my ex of, using my son as a pawn in our conflict. By the way, I wouldn't have any conflict with you guys listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. Yeah.
Yikes. Plotting him against everyone. He is a pawn in this scenario.
Yeah. I mean, he's totally a pawn. His mom is using him because she hates OP and wants to, get back at him. And then you were totally in the clear until you took away his other dog.
Damn. It sucks for the son. It sucks for the dogs.
Yeah, man.
2 dogs have now.
Two dogs.
Nina Nilsson, I think, said it. 2 dogs have been traumatized, having a home and then not having a home anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, this all sucks. No one has won here. No one's winning.
No.
And the stepdaughters are just on the sideline watching it all happen.
What I'd interpreted as him being remorseless was actually him putting the walls up because he was feeling attacked. I'm so ashamed of myself. My dad told me he was very disappointed in my actions last week. I sat in my car and wept. I'm disappointed in myself too. I created a mediation appointment with my ex and she actually participated. She also seemed to be full of regret. We came to an agreement to stop messing up our son's happiness just because we were acting like a-holes. But I'm not sure if we can salvage the situation with our ex. He's caught both my ex and me off completely, and I can't even blame him. I just had to get this out. I haven't been able to sleep for a while now. I tried calling my son today. He actually answered this time and told me he hated me. To hear your child say he hates you and actually mean it is the worst feeling in the world.
I will say, in this scenario, you got to have thick skin.
Yeah.
Kids are going to say the darndest things.
And you have to keep showing him that you're there for him. Because right now he thinks that his family hates him.
You have to have unconditional love as parents.
Yeah.
And that is what I am learning as me. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, you were clearly I don't know. You just didn't realize what your son was going through. And obviously you tried to talk to him. And I think that you were in the clear until you pettily took away the dog.
I don't know,
And now
man.
it's just,
Man was limited
let's
with
see if you can-
options.
let's see if you can fix this.
He needed, why did the mediation appointment not come earlier?
I think that they didn't, both parents couldn't see what was going on with their son until it came to this point. I think that they both realized, we went too far.
Yeah, I get that, but if that happened a step too earlier, it would have. My boy, is there perhaps an update or anything on this story? We get a lot of comments of people being like, they just cliffhang us. We get cliffhang all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't help it. We're not the ones writing the stories.
Not our fault. Yeah. Let me
Exactly.
check.
If we were nonstop and didn't have to sleep, we would write the stories. But that's not the case. and I would
Ooh.
finish all of them. No way.
That account is banned.
Oh, yeah, it got deleted. I forgot about that.
Ooh.
Yep. I can't see
Schmed
it.
says OP reacted once. Mom did numerous bad decisions that the son went with. I'm confused as to why both are being treated the same now when OP tried for so long. I'm not treating them the same. I think the ex-wife / mom of the son is totally, like, clearly in the wrong. But I think that OP's mistake is that for the whole time he was trying his best, and then to the ex's level just despite her. I think that's where he went too far.
Yeah, your character. You got to be the bigger man.
Yeah.
When wading waters like this.
He played the game. He stooped to the ex's level.
Yeah.
That's what he
Like, in this scenario, if I were in it, X is playing checkers. I got to play chess. How can I do that in a very kind way? It's very tricky.
And not using the son as a pawn.
I would have to use him as a pawn, but he would be turning into a
I
rook.
would be turning.
What
okay.
does suck, and I can get it from OP's perspective, he tried so many times to talk to the son, but the son never really wanted to talk. Like, that's not, you can only try
I
so
would
much.
have stopped the son in his tracks. Like, dude, let's talk this out. Let's really get this all out.
I feel like he tried. I feel like OP tried
I
because
think
he
he
did
did
say
try.
it multiple times in the post, saying, I tried to talk to him so many times.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would try harder.
How would you try harder if the person that you waned to talk to about this situation
At the age
said
of
no?
5, my son and I will start playing with a so-called orange ball and try to get it into a basket. At the age of 6, he will love this game, and we will bond over it for the next 6 years until he turns 12. At the age of 13, this happens. What are we going to do? We're going to have a basketball game.
And you say, hey, kid, what's up? I
What's
got
up?
Greg here. I'm going to talk
Gregory,
to him.
yeah.
Gregory, sorry. You got to talk to him.
Yep. And we're going to play the first game not saying anything, one-on-one basketball.
Just a classic game of knockout.
And then second game, we get our feelings out.
And we play horse.
Easy.
Yeah.
All
You
right.
can gain a letter
don't-
back every time you share an emotion.
Well, I was going to say, I don't think OP has a time machine to go back in time
No.
and do that.
Well,
It's too late. I think from
that's
now
why
on.
you build the foundation early on, everyone.
Yeah. I think from now on, you just have to keep showing up for your son, even though he's saying, I hate you. I don't want to see you.
Hey, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
I agree on that with Sophia. Don't abandon him.
This
even
is
though
exactly what he thinks that you're going to do. So don't
Yeah.
prove him right.
yeah.
But we've got another story, folks, and we're going to get right into that.
My husband excluded our daughter on their boys' trip.
But I want to go.
I, 43 female, have triplets. Mark, Liam, and Abby, 14, with my husband, Josh, 45 male. Last Friday, Josh decided to bring Mark and Liam on a spontaneous trip to Six Flags. Okay,
Already messed
a-hole.
up.
Already messed up.
Already messed up.
I don't like amusement parks, so I wasn't bothered by not being invited. Abby asked to go as well, but Mark and Liam said it was a boys' trip and that she would ruin the vibe. Abby was upset because she felt left out, and I felt bad for her, so I decided we'd have a day out. By the way, this comes from ClickDependent8, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKstorytime subreddit. And we're here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do know, so let us know what you know in the comments down below. OP says, on Saturday, we went to Cake Cheese Manufacturer, our favorite restaurant, a local spa, and I let her have a mini shopping spree at the
Ooh.
mall that only came out to be under $50.
Heck yeah.
That's a win for me. I paid for it all since I got a hefty bonus and didn't know what else to spend it on. Felt better after that, and we even had a heartfelt mother-daughter moment at a bear completion where we made each other bears. We also had brunch on Sunday, although it wasn't very costly. The boys came home last Sunday, and Abby was excited to tell Josh all about what we did over the weekend. The dad, he got mad and confronted me about it, saying I shouldn't have done that.
I'm sorry, what? Loser says what?
You can have a spontaneous trip. Wife can't have a spontaneous trip.
This is ridiculous. He's
Wife
like,
got bonus out of her
"This
own
was-
pocket.
this is boys' night. You couldn't do anything during boys' weekend.
Okay. Sounded like a good old-fashioned convo before any
Like,
of
why
this
are
would have
we-
fixed it.
Why are we gendering the things that I would understand if you had, like, my dad and Sam will go on trips together, and that's kind of like they have like their boys' time, but also my dad and I will do stuff together as well. And also Sam's older than me, so there is a different relationship there. I don't understand why this trip had to be excluding Abby when they're all the same age.
And they're going to Six Flags.
They're
not
Six Flags.
going
It's not even like
a hunting trip, a
yeah.
fishing trip.
Well, it's not like the two boys were super into hunting and Abby's like, I hate hunting.
Yeah. Or like
It doesn't make sense.
yeah, that's
I don't think a trip should be gendered. It should be like, I'm interested in this. these kids are interested in this and this one's not.
Well, okay, I disagree with you there.
Why?
I do think that some trips should be gendered because I feel like having the brotherhood of men together or like the sisterhood of women together builds this like kind of bond. Not saying like if you're going to Six Flags, everyone can go to Six Flags.
Mhm.
But if I'm going out with the boys, we're going to like go eat
All you can eat sushi.
all you can eat sushi.
But why can't your daughter go to that?
I need boy time for that. And I would explain, but here's the messed up
See,
part.
I don't agree with that.
Here's the messed up part. He didn't explain it to her. Like,
I don't
hey,
think even if my dad explained that, I'd be like, that's messed up. Why can't I come?
okay.
I would be, as a child, I would be incredibly hurt if my father was like, I'm taking these 2 other kids that are your age, your siblings, and you can't come because you're a girl.
So my dad would take me to play basketball. We'd leave our brothers at home.
Yeah, because you're older.
Well,
Yeah.
I think
it was an age thing.
because it's an amusement park.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's where I don't like that
Yeah,
part.
I
think
totally
you can
understand what
absolutely
you're
have
both
individual
saying.
time.
I understand what you're both saying,
Yeah.
but the fact that they went to an amusement park and never brought it up, and
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like, we're
That's
going.
ridiculous.
Yeah, no, that's messed up.
That's messed up.
I don't like that. But if they were to go on like let's say they both like basketball, they went on a basketball trip spontaneously, boom, that's where it would happen. And I would
I
explain that to the daughter.
I think if daughter didn't like basketball, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. But
I
if she
would-
did, I'd be like, why
I
are we
would be
taking
like, I would have a conversation with my kids because they're triplets.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, boys, if the boys like a baseball game and Abby doesn't like a baseball game, great.
Yeah, perfect.
And I'm like, Abby, we can
Well,
do
let's
something
do
in
something
But you don't
Yes.
but you don't agree on gendered trips at all.
No, not with your kids when they're the same age. I agree with age trips, like when you have different ages, and I agree that you can want to spend one-on-one time with your kids.
That's Sophia's opinion. And everyone, I have a different opinion than Sophia. And
Clearly.
we're going to continue this story having different opinions.
And I'm neutral.
That's attaboy. I asked why, because he refused to let Abby go in the first place. And he said it was a boys' trip and that I shouldn't get her used to special treatment for not being involved in anything.
Hate that.
Dude,
Hate that.
totally missing the ball
This
here.
feels very, very gendered. He's like, she's a girl.
She
So I'm not
can't
gonna
like
hang out
roller
with her.
coasters.
And I also don't want her to get anything ever.
I asked why it bothered him so much since I know he'd do it for our sons, but he won't tell me why it bothers him so much.
Because he's being sexist.
He ended up even trying to take her bear, but I wouldn't let him. He's being cold to me and Abby now, and I'm at a loss. Am I the a-hole?
No.
Dude, we got
Your husband's the a-hole.
Yeah, we're going to our middle person figuring this out ASAP.
Well, what I want to know is, does your husband hang out with Abby one-on-one? Does he make time specifically for her? Because if he doesn't, if he's always doing boys trips and he never actually makes time for Abby,
I have an answer for that.
perfect.
Has OP's husband acted like this before? OP says he's never acted this way before, which is really confusing me.
Doesn't actually answer my question.
Well, he's never like took the boys out on trips before, I think. But we don't know what the day-to-day relationship between
Yeah.
the dad and Abby is.
I would love more information about that.
Commenter 1 says this is alarming behavior, to be honest. If they're allowed boys trips, why are the girls not allowed girls trips? Unless he can give a better explanation. The only reason he's against this is because he wanted her to feel excluded. Why does he insist his daughter to feel excluded? Does he hate her or something? Is this the first time he's treated her less than when it comes to all the kids? OP says he's refused to explain why and just says that it's not right and won't explain further. I don't know if he hates her, but I'm wondering now. I'm wondering why he would treat her this way. There have been times before where he'd get to take the boys somewhere extravagant and take Abby somewhere else less exciting after, like taking our sons camping for the weekend and taking Abby to Denny's to make it up. No, we're taking Abby to tea time and we're all dressing up as princesses.
Oh,
That's what we're doing afterwards.
yeah, that's what we're doing.
Oh my
You better make it
gosh.
up to her.
If I was in this situation, I get the camping trip, but I'm going all out even more
Yeah.
for Abby because I took 2 kids to a camping trip. I'm gonna have to
Exactly.
double that and give it to her.
The
I
fact
think
that
you need to spend time with each child with the things that they like to do.
Yeah.
I love the fact that he's like, yeah, that equals out, right? I'll take the boys
Yeah.
on a camping trip, and then, honey,
we'll go
I'm
to
gonna take you to
Denny's."
like just a breakfast chain
That's so messed up.
and get you like a waffle.
I think if the 2 little boys were like, I want to go camping, and Abby was like, I don't want to go camping, and then the dad took the boys camping, I think, and Abby did, like, I don't think you should take Abby with you if she's like, I don't want to go camping. But you should then focus on her and give her like a little
Simple resolution.
Yeah.
You just ask.
yeah,
Ask her, hey,
exactly.
honey, what do you want to do?
Exactly.
So back to the Denny's thing, but she always seemed to appreciate it. So I put thought into it. Now I'm wondering if she was an afterthought to him.
Seems like it.
Another commenter says his refusal to explain is an explanation. He wants her to feel like a second-class citizen. You know that you also were not invited, but it didn't bother you because it was conveniently something you're not into. Are you also treated as a second-class citizen, but it's just conveniently happens to be things you're not interested in? Does he treat you to a lesser experience as a way of making up for the times you're excluded? I'm wondering if it's a he hates his daughter thing or if it's a sexism thing. He says, I've never felt like I was being treated like a second-class citizen by him or Mark or Liam. If anything, they treat me like I'm one of the wonders of the world. Usually if he plans trips, I'm the first one he has involved, even before we tell the kids. He just insisted this time that it was a boys' trip. Did anyone else meet up with Josh, Mark, and Liam? How did the kids get along with each other? As far as I know, they didn't bring anyone else or meet anyone. No, Liam, Mark, and Abby usually get along and at the worst deal with typical sibling rivalry, but it's never been as bad as this. Another commenter, not the a-hole, I don't get your husband's reaction. Was he possibly going to do a daddy-daughter day and now feels he can't? But why wouldn't he tell you? And trying to take her bear? That's the equivalent of saying you don't deserve anything because you don't have a wiener. I don't know. I think this goes deep and is worth digging into. 14 is such a hard age. OP says, I asked him if he was going to take her anywhere before he left for Six Flags, actually. He just said no. He seemed frustrated, but I figured he was just focused on packing, so I never pushed it further.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like, we don't have to read between the lines here. This is pretty obvious.
This is frustrating.
Does OP have her own one-on-one with each of her children? Mark and I go to Olive Garden together, and Liam isn't much of a restaurant person, so we have macaroni and cheese nights if it's just me and him.
See, this is what I like. She's got these individual, like, Mark and I do this, Liam and I do this, and then Abby and I do this. That's what I like.
Yeah, I try to spend time with them individually. I take Mark to the arcade and Liam to the museums if he wants to visit. I promise I don't just focus on Abby.
Yeah, I think it's just so hard with 3 kids that are all the same age. Like, one's gonna feel if you don't invite all of them, one of them is going to feel left out.
I have to just ask the question of these triplets being identical or fraternal because I feel like the dad's like,
well, they're not. They're not identical because she's a girl.
Well, I mean,
so they can't be identical.
They can't be identical. So okay, that makes a lot of sense. But that's just so funny to me. Like the dad's just like, this is so hard. I have to focus on the 2 boys or the 1 girl.
Yeah.
The boys.
The boy, literally, that's what he's like. I don't know how to parent a girl, so I'm gonna focus on the boys. And also, it went a step beyond. Like, regardless of whether or not you think the boy trip thing is fine, he went a step beyond that and said, also, she shouldn't even have anything fun.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I read some comments. There were some crazy comments of, does the husband not think Abby is his? She's like, no, the triplets.
No.
Can you kick the husband out? No, the house was inherited from his grandmother, so he can't kick him out. And he can maybe kick them out. I don't know. But we have an update.
Oh boy, let's freaking do it.
3 months later.
Oh man.
Any guesses?
I think he's just being sexist.
Okay.
I really hope that 3 months later he starts taking Abby out to more cool places and like realizes to be a better parent.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yep.
That's my wishful thinking.
Been a while since I made my first post, and enough time has passed that I figured I would update. Firstly, I want to clear some things up. The boys' trip was not just one day. It was from Friday to Tuesday. I saw multiple people say it was just a day trip, so I wanted to clarify that. The question everyone is asking, why did I defend Josh? I wish I had an answer better than I was in denial. I didn't want to think that Josh was horrible because I truly loved him at the time.
Uh-oh.
I don't anymore.
Oh.
At the time, though, I was scared to accept that he was a bad person. The update.
Well, that was an intro.
I saw the
Certainly
first sentence.
hooked me.
Yeah, not that. Yeah, well.
Let's get into it.
Wishful thinking.
I
Wishful
need to
thinking
know.
was not very wishful there. Yeah.
The update. I took the kids and we went to my sister's house. Mark and Liam protested, but I told them it wasn't their choice to make. I told Josh that we were leaving for a while, and he literally said, fine, as long as I can keep the boys with me.
Wow, you suck.
We had an argument about it, and it escalated to the point where the police had to intervene. He didn't get physical, but he was verbally aggressive towards all of us, and they had to calm him down. I think that was the moment I realized I couldn't do it anymore and decided it was over for us. I was able to force him into family therapy with the help of his family. They were all appalled by his behavior and didn't understand what was happening either. I wish I could tell you all that we came to a big revelation and finally understood everything, but unfortunately, that didn't happen. The therapist asked Abby to speak, and she asked Josh directly why he didn't let her go on the trip and why he got upset that she spent the day with me. He refused to speak and just walked out of the session. Wait, he blocked both me and my daughter? And the last thing I heard from him was him texting Liam and telling him to tell me that he expects custody of both the boys and not Abby if we divorce. What happened on this trip? What happened at Six Flags?
No, this is how he felt the whole time. I mean, it's super clear that this is how he felt about his daughter the whole time. He did not value her. That's devastating.
Why won't he say anything?
Yeah, now you got to get full custody.
It's wild.
Keep those texts, by the way.
Yeah.
Or like, I would be like, hey, Liam, I need those texts because you got to understand that's not right.
Yeah. You don't want to be separated from your sister.
Dude, the emotional. Also, if there's like some kind of test you can have on a guy of his emotional intelligence before you get married, take the test. I see a lot.
See what he thinks about women.
Especially like where I'm from, the emotional intelligence is very lackluster in a lot of relationships, and it's very frustrating. You can have opinions about things, but if you can't really explain why you think that way, or you're saying it because someone else told you to think that way,
or you can't take somebody else's opinion like that.
Oh my gosh,
differs from yours.
Yes, you can't like agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah, jeez.
I still don't understand what's going on with him, and neither does his family. I also talked to all the kids separately. Abby said that nothing happened between the two of them, and she was confused as to why he hated her. Liam and Mark said that he told them they should leave Abby home because this was a father-son trip, and insisted that the trip was going to have a certain dynamic that Abby would ruin. He convinced them not to want her on the trip, and they obliged because he said he was going to cancel it if she came along. As for what happened on the trip, they just said they spent pretty much all their time at Six Flags. And the worst thing that happened was they didn't have sunscreen.
That is pretty bad.
You know, like karma.
Yeah.
Karma.
Deserved, unfortunately.
As of right now, we're still living with my sister. Mark and Liam are still sharing a room and got used to it. Abby is still shaken up from the situation. Sometimes I catch her blaming herself for all of this. But I make sure to remind her that it's not her fault. All three are on a wait list for individual therapy right now, and I'm considering it for myself. But for now, I'm focusing on them. I'm looking to see what my options are for housing. And as much as I would love to keep her home, I don't know if I can. And I'm looking into other houses and apartments as backup. I'm hoping the divorce process goes smoothly, but I can see Josh dragging it out as long as possible. I'm monitoring Mark and Liam's texts in case Josh says anything or tries pitting them against me or Abby. He still won't talk to Abby or me, which I'm fine with as of now. I know Abby misses her dad, but I think she realizes that she's better off without him. That's basically everything right now. I'm not sure if this is the end of everything or if I'll be dealing with this a lot more with a divorce. In any case, I think my kids and I will be fine. Thanks to everyone on the original thread for giving me advice and helping me pull off the rose-tinted glasses. I dread to think about what would have happened if I never came here and stayed with Josh. We have some comments. You can stay with us on your favorite podcast platform. Just search up Storytime on iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. For more stories like this, we got like 76 days or something like that.
Yeah, this is the only way. And I think that you should get full custody if he's still making that demand that he only wants the sons.
Yeah, we have some comments left here. Okay, someone's like, is it possible that he believes Abby isn't his? Very strange behavior.
They're twins or triplets.
Yeah, someone did say it's possible.
But it's so unlikely. It's so unlikely. And I'm sure they look like each other. That would be like incredibly unlikely.
Or that he thought after having two boys, he'd have another one and got disappointed. Yeah.
Again, they're triplets.
He probably wanted 3 boys. OP says she's definitely going for full custody, or
Good.
at least nothing more than supervised visits from him. Psych Val would be a good idea. I'll try and talk to my attorney about this, considering his own family doesn't agree with his behavior or know what's going on with him, and we can have the family therapy incident as proof. I can hope that will be enough to get a psych evaluation or at least prove if he isn't fitted to be around them alone.
Yeah, I think that's the best course of action. Get them away from him. Supervised visits at the most. But yeah, this is not a man fit to take care of his kids. But folks, that's the end of that story, and we've got another one. My fiance's ideal woman is not me.
Time to move on.
And this comes directly from the r/OKstorytime subreddit. I, 35 female, have been engaged to my fiance, 31 male, for over a year now after dating for a year. He proposed on our 1-year anniversary, and our wedding is planned for next spring.
Yay!
For context, we are both a bit on the traditional and conservative side and willingly live our lives that way. By the way, this comes from What the F is Life 25, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKstorytime subreddit. And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, we made a new friend earlier in the week at our church, John, age 30, who just moved into town. He's married, no kids, but his wife will be moving into town with him next month since her job contract doesn't end for a few more weeks.
Don't believe him? Let's see some proof. Let's call her.
Call her
Get
up.
on a FaceTime.
Earlier in the day, yesterday, I mentioned that it's kind of cool that John's wife is also 4 years older than him. To which my fiance responded, yeah, that is interesting. I mean, my ideal woman would be in her early 20s.
Sarcastically, he said, right?
Why did he say that?
Saying haha hee hee, right? That was a funny joke, huh?
I'm sorry, if I was like, it's kind of crazy that someone has the exact same, these new friends have the exact same age gap as us. And then my partner went, yeah,
Slam
I
dunk.
wouldn't want to have it if I had my way.
Oh my gosh.
I would want someone younger than you.
Man, if Keon and I had it our way, we'd have 9-foot women who are blue and have little tails.
I thought we were going to keep that a secret.
I looked at him funny and asked, like when you were younger, or you mean right now, currently at the age you are? He responded, no, I mean right now. I'm 31. Ideally, I should be with a woman in her 20s.
Oh God, he's doubling down.
That's when women are at their prime, especially since I want to have many children and a big family, and I'm at my prime right now.
No, you were at your prime at 23, and you broke your ankle, and you could have made it to the NFL. That's what I would tell him.
I was stunned. I wouldn't even know how to respond to that. I'd be like,
He's had that in his back pocket. It low key.
Chilibus says men are never at their prime.
Ouch. It's like
Wow.
hitting. It's like, oh no, a bicycle's about to hit me coming down the hill, and it's a truck full of bricks.
Yeah. OP's like, wait, I'm going to give you a chance to get out of that. And he said, no, I don't want to take that exit. I'm going to keep driving. We've had conversations like this before, but there's always general discussion about statistics or trends. Never specifically about us or our individual wants, needs, or preferences. I remained quiet the rest of the day. I didn't want my emotions to control the situation, so I stayed silent to give my mind time to process everything. The next morning, I guess he could sense a difference in my demeanor. He kept asking me what was wrong. I finally gave in and calmly said, so you would ideally like to be with a woman in her 20s because that's when they're at their prime for raising a large family and you're currently at your prime, so what's stopping you?
And he says, whoa, girl.
Yeah, he says,
Ooh.
oh.
Calm down.
It was a
You want a carrot?
joke.
You want a carrot?
You are
Easy, girl, easy.
overreacting.
He looked genuinely confused. I continued, we're not married yet. We're not legally tied down to each other. Why are you with me? I never lied to you about my age. You knew how old I was when we met. You knew I wanted to have children. You knew there could be a possibility that having children could be a difficult situation for me. You're 30. You're fine. Yet you chose to continue dating me. You chose to continue a relationship with me, and then you chose to propose to me a year into our relationship. Why? If you're at your prime and I'm not your ideal woman, why are you with me? Why do you want to marry me?
So I could just settle down.
I don't know, because you
said yes to me.
You seem nice. I already asked a couple other 20-year-olds,
They all said no.
and they said, no, I'm the prime of my life. I don't want to settle down and have a kid and get married.
See, that's the thing. Is as soon as he becomes single, he's going to go for a 20-year-old. It's not going to happen.
None of them are going to want to have kids. Well, some probably will, but probably not the ones he finds. Drop this guy. Don't marry him. Do not marry this guy. By the way, you should marry into our family by listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Say I do. Okay,
Say I do to us. But there is a little bit left to this story. Honestly, I didn't know how to feel about his response. He said, well, women like you are hard to find here. There aren't many younger women who are traditional and conservative like you. And your years of baby making aren't over. You're only 35. You still have time. The possibility of us having children together is still there. Maybe not at your prime anymore, but nowhere near impossible.
He really just doesn't get
He is
it.
digging his grave.
The TLDR version of this is him being like, you're a 6 out of 10. I could be with a 10 out of 10. And then he doubles down and says, you're more like a 6.5 out of 10.
He's like, I guess you're like, I don't know, best of 7?
Very mid.
I didn't know how to respond. I simply said, I feel like you're settling. And a man in his prime shouldn't have to settle. He got audibly upset and responded, well, you can leave then if that's what you want. That was all this morning while we were both getting ready for work. Now I'm sitting in my office with my head spinning on what the F just happened. And folks, that's the end of that story. Seems like OP broke up with him.
I hope
And
so.
honestly, thank goodness. I think you just leave this guy. He clearly is showing who he is, which often happens when you haven't been together that long. Less than 2 years.
Right at a year.
I think it was a little bit over a year now.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, around, because he proposed after a year.
Got it.
Okay, wait, I did find a comment. It's from a comment. Pretty much everyone just saying, don't marry this guy. And like, this guy sucks. And OP responds with, I've read and reread your comments so many times, my eyes hurt. But you make so much sense, and you're absolutely right. He doesn't want to be a husband and a father. He just likes the idea of having a wife and children to provide for.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Because it makes him look much better as a man who can provide for a family.
So,
Absolutely.
This is the energy of, I want to have a wife and kids, not I want to be a father and have children. Or I want to be a husband and have children.
I want to have a wife and kids. I don't care who that is. Like,
Well, I
it doesn't matter. It's not, I want to have a wife and kids with you, or I want you to be my wife and I want to have kids with you. I just want a wife and kids.
What I'm talking about is the mentality of, I want a wife and kids, not I want to take the responsibility of being a husband. I want to take the responsibility of being a father.
Yeah, I agree. Because this is the end of the episode. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And
See
see
you
you
tomorrow.
tomorrow.